Picture this: I'm standing ankle-deep in stinking, tar-black mud, staring at a wasteland where a shimmering 50-acre lake sat just 3 days ago. Its surface now cracked earth stretching to the horizon like some post-apocalyptic movie set. Scattered across this mess are a dozen $500,000 yachts, their glossy hulls caked in sludge, looking like beached whales gasping for air. The smell hits you like a punch-rotting fish, diesel fumes, and something that's definitely not mountain fresh. About a quarter-mile off, Karen Whitmore, the HOA dictator who started this whole war, is screaming into her phone, hosing down her bone-dry infinity pools while her resort guests toss suitcases into SUVs, demanding their money back as base flop in muddy puddles. 3 months ago, Karen bulldozed my dad's bridge, the one he built with his own hands in '58, called it a blight on her perfect view. Well, Karen, how's your $3 million view looking now? Before I tell you how I legally drained an entire lake, let me ask, what would you do if someone obliterated your family's legacy while you were burying your mom? Drop a comment. Let me know where you're watching from, and let's see how far this story spreads. My name's Ethan Caldwell, and 3 months ago, I was just a 45-year-old civil engineer trying to piece my life back together after a brutal divorce. I'd lost my marriage, was fighting for scraps of time with my kids, and the only place that felt like home was my dad's cabin on Lake Harmony. My father, Jack Caldwell, bought 30 acres of swampy land back in '57 for $1,000, his entire savings from the Navy. Folks called him nuts, said it was just a mosquito haven, but Dad had a vision, the kind you get after surviving storms at sea. He built that cabin board by board, added a dock, and then his pride and joy, a 60-foot bridge linking our land to the town trail. That bridge wasn't just wood and nails. It was where kids cannonballed into summer, where my sister got engaged, where I scattered Dad's ashes last October. It was history, our history, and it smelled like pine and freedom every time I crossed it. Then Karen Whitmore rolled into town. Karen showed up 5 years back, all high heels and Scottsdale swagger, flashing money nobody could trace, but everybody noticed. She bought up the old Miller farm across the lake, turned it into Harmony Hills Estates, million-dollar homes in a town where most folks scrape by on 40 grand a year. She crowned herself HOA president before the first roof was on, and her pet project was a $4 million glass and marble resort, Harmony Shores, all to sell overpriced mountain luxury to city folks. Karen had a knack for weaponizing rules. She'd slap fines on anything that didn't match her Pinterest board. The Thompson's barn? Zoning violation. Old Miss Clara's wildflower garden? Unapproved landscaping. My dad's bridge? Obstructing premium lake views. She called it an eyesore, never mind that it was on the county's historic register. The gut punch came October 12th, while I was 200 miles away burying my mom. Cancer took her fast, like it was racing to break my heart. I was drowning in grief and hospital bills when I got back to the cabin, craving silence, only to find yellow tape where Dad's bridge used to stand. Wood splinters littered the ground like broken bones, and a note on my door read, "Unpermitted structure removed. Cleanup fee $3,200. Best wishes, Harmony Hills HOA." Security footage showed Karen in her signature gold blazer, pointing at the bridge like she was directing a demolition derby. I crashed their next HOA meeting, all 20 of them packed into a stuffy room, Karen smirking behind her designer glasses. "Ethan, that bridge was a liability," she said, cool as a snake. "It devalued our community's aesthetic." Vote was unanimous. Unanimous. My ass, half those folks looked like they'd been strong-armed into agreeing. Things got uglier. Karen's lawyer, her nephew Todd, sent me a cease and desist letter accusing me of harassing the HOA by showing up to their public meeting. Then they claimed my dock, the one Dad poured concrete for in '59, violated some setback rule and had to go. By Friday, my boat was half sunk, its hull cracked from someone sawing through the dock posts at midnight. My security camera? Spray-painted black. But I got lucky. A kid named Riley, who worked maintenance at Karen's marina, came to me, nervous as hell, saying he saw Todd's truck by my place at 2 a.m. Riley was 20, with a baby on the way, stuck working for Karen to pay his bills, but he had a conscience. He showed me a text from her. "Doc fixed. $600 bonus if done by dawn. No questions." Classic Karen break it, then profit off the fix. I took my fight to Claire Thompson, a small-town lawyer who didn't charge for heart. She spread Dad's deed across her desk. The paper yellowed, but the words clear as day. Ethan, your dad didn't just buy land, she said, eyes gleaming. He bought the lake. Back in '58, the county built a dam on his property to turn a 10-acre pond into Lake Harmony, using federal funds. Dad gave them an easement, but kept the water rights, including the power to drain the lake for emergency maintenance. Claire called it riparian law, old as dirt, meaning my family's claim trumped Karen's HOA nonsense. That's when I realized I wasn't just fighting for a bridge, I was fighting for control. Karen didn't stop. She upped the ante, plastering flyers around town with my divorce mugshot, cherry-picked quotes making me look like a drunk with a temper. Unstable local threatens community, they screamed. My phone blew up neighbors, my ex, even my kid's school asking if I was okay. It burned, that kind of public shaming, but Karen slipped up. Those court records were sealed, and leaking them was a felony. Sheriff's Deputy Morales, who'd known my dad forever, showed up with one of those flyers, shaking his head. You didn't authorize this, did you? He asked. Hell no. He folded it like evidence, muttering about pressing charges. Meanwhile, Claire dug deeper and found gold in the county archives. The '58 dam project came with federal strings. Public access had to be maintained, and any environmental damage gave the landowner drainage rights. Tests by the county engineer, Mike Larson, showed Karen's resort had turned the lake into a toxic stew, fuel runoff, sewage leaks, you name it. Mike's report was my green light. Drain the lake, clean the mess, save the ecosystem. Karen got wind of it and tried everything: a fake federal injunction from a buddy's uncle who wasn't even a judge anymore, even a $500,000 cash offer to buy my land. I told her, Karen, you can't buy history. Her smile cracked, and I saw the panic underneath. Sunday night, she played her dirtiest card. My ex, Lisa, called from Boise, voice shaking. Karen had driven 6 hours to offer her $60,000 to say I was an unfit dad, hoping to drag me into a custody fight and stall the drainage. Lisa recorded it all, every word of Karen's bribe. She's going down for this, Lisa said, and I could hear her old fire, the kind that hated bullies as much as I did. That recording went straight to Claire, who sent it to the FBI. Game over. Monday morning, I stood at the dam controls, media vans circling like hawks. Claire had every permit locked down, Mike's contamination data was bulletproof, and a wildlife team was ready to save the fish. Karen showed up in a bathrobe, screaming I was a terrorist, but the EPA agent, Carla Ruiz, just flashed her badge. Ms. Whitmore, you're under arrest: bribery, conspiracy, environmental crimes. Handcuffs clicked as cameras rolled. I turned the crank, and the lake started draining, slow at first, then faster, exposing decades of filth: oil drums, batteries, an illegal sewage pipe from Karen's resort. By noon, her yachts were stuck in mud, her guests were fleeing, and the bride for that day's wedding was threatening to sue Todd into next year. By dusk, Lake Harmony was gone. It's been a crime scene under floodlights. The feds cataloged evidence while locals wandered the mud, finding arrowheads and old tools from before the dam. Karen's resort went bankrupt in weeks, seized by the feds for permit violations. The lake refilled naturally, cleaner than it had been in decades, and I rebuilt Dad's bridge with help from neighbors who remembered him. My kids now fish there every summer, and I started a scholarship in Dad's name for kids like Riley, who's learning dam engineering from Mike. Standing on that bridge now, watching clean water catch the sunset, I can almost hear Dad's laugh. This wasn't about revenge, it was about keeping a promise to a place that raised me. If you've ever fought an HOA tyrant or stood up for what's yours, drop your story below. I read everyone. And if this tale made you believe one guy can still take on a corrupt system and win, hit that like button, share it, and subscribe for more real-life fights where justice flows like clean water. Where are you watching from? Let's keep this community growing.